An angry Farooq Abdullah's message for the BJP: stop meddling with Article 370. He stormed out of the NDTV interview. Take a look.
Farooq Abdullah, let's start with what you said today that's grabbed headlines. You said even if Narendra Modi becomes Prime Minister 10 times, Article 370 cannot go. But do you disagree with his calls for a reasoned and rational debate on its continuance?
Look, what is he going to debate? We have already been asking that the Article 370 has been diluted to such an extent that autonomy of the state has been affected very badly. We say that the autonomy of the state should be restored. If there is a debate on that, we welcome that. But what is he talking about, removal of the article?
So you are saying, Farooq Abdullah,
They
that you are
say a lot of
saying,
things.
you are saying that Article 370 has been eroded. You want greater autonomy. You're not willing to have a debate on the continuance of 370.
That has been national conferences. That has been national conferences stand from the beginning. It's not a new thing.
Do you believe that...
So what BJP wants, BJP continues to say all these things. It's like they said they're going to build the Ram Mandir. They couldn't even build it when their government was there in Delhi. So they're just fooling people all the time on various issues. Another issue he raised was that the government isn't talking to China for opening the road from Dhamchuk to Kailash and Mansarovar. Whereas he should know the facts. That I, as Chief Minister, approached Mr. Bajpai when he was going to China and requested him that he should take this up with the Chinese government. And he took it up when he was there. The Chinese didn't accept at all. So you can't say that we did not try, and we continue to try that.
So what would you say, Farooq Abdullah, to Narendra Modi, who says, has Article 370 made a difference to the lives of the people of Jammu and Kashmir? What would you say to Narendra Modi in response to that question?
I think he should hear what Zubin Mehta had to say when he said about Article 370. And he said, thank God you have Article 370.
Why is it so important to the people of Kashmir, according to you?
It is very important, and don't ask me why.
Why should one not ask why?
You ask somebody else, not Farooq Abdullah.
But don't you think people outside Jammu and Kashmir need to understand why it is important, why you believe it has to stay? Because a number of people...
If it wasn't important, would they introduce Barkha Article 370 in the Constitution if it was not important?
The BJP says Article 370 in the Constitution is described as a temporary provision, that it was not meant to be permanent. What would you say to that?
I will only say to BJP, for God's sake, don't create situations which are going to be detrimental to the future relationship of Jammu and Kashmir with the rest of the nation.
You believe Article 370 impacts the larger relationship between the state and the country?
Yes. And if you want to read anything, you should read today's newspaper, Hindustan Times editorial.
Now, I want to ask you, Farooq Saab, at the heart of the example that Narendra Modi gave in his rally was that Omar Abdullah and his sister, that's your daughter, do not actually have the same inheritance rights. Now, I want to rewind you to that time in 2002 when the High Court of Jammu and Kashmir actually quashed that part of an existing law which said that women who marry outside the state will not get the status of permanent residents. The High Court changed that but did not change that for their children. At that time, your party's Advocate General M.A. Goni actually opposed this judgment. Your party even filed a special leave petition at the Supreme Court. Why, Farooq Abdullah, was the National Conference supporting this anti-woman law?
Look, Barkha, this law was introduced by Maharaja Hari Singh. My Chief Secretary, Khaja Nasrullah, his daughter was also married outside, and a lot of these people, his daughters, were married, and they wanted this law to be scrapped and a new law brought in so that these girls also have the right. As far as Farooq Abdullah is concerned, I was in full favor that it should be done, and that those girls who marry outside should have the same rights as girls who come from outside and marry people in Kashmir or Jammu.
But then why did the National
Ladakh.
Conference oppose this? Why did the National Conference's Advocate General oppose this?
I don't know then. I think there was so much going on, I don't remember. I really don't remember. Otherwise, the question is, I think it's not a bad idea if those women are given the same rights as everyone else.
So you are saying that in 2002 and in 2003, when the National Conference's government actually appealed against this law and went to the Supreme Court, then Mufti Saeed's government came, they sought to reinstate this permanent residence bill, which remained discriminatory for women. You're saying the National Conference made a mistake at that time and it should revise its position today.
Look,
am I understanding you correctly?
Don't beat the damn dead horse.
How
Don't beat the dead horse.
How is it a dead horse?
I told you how I felt, and I told you how I feel about it.
It's not.
That is my personal opinion.
Farooq Saab.
What the rest of the people want to do, it is for them to do.
So is your personal opinion different from that of your parties?
I don't know. This is my personal opinion, and I've told you about it.
May I ask you a question? You're getting very upset, but let me ask you a question.
No, don't ask me any more questions.
No, 1 minute.
You ask too many questions. I have to go to a function.
Sir, that's my job. That's my job to ask questions. Now, let me just ask you. Let me ask you a last question. If you're still with us, Farooq Saab. Well, Farooq Abdullah, let's try and get you back on. I'm not sure why that question should make you so angry. My question was actually going to be that even now, after the High Court has changed the law that denied women the right to be permanent residents of their state if they married outside. Even after that today, the children of women who marry outside and the children of men who marry outside do have different rights, because the right to buy and sell property depends on whether you have a certificate from the state saying that you're a state subject of Jammu and Kashmir. And children of women who marry outside do not get the domicile of their mother, but children get the domicile status of their father, and that's where the discrimination is. I am not sure why Farooq Abdullah got so angry with me on asking that question. We will try and get him back. But at the moment, Farooq Abdullah is saying that personally he disagreed with the fact that women should not get the same rights as men, and saying that Article 370 has already been eroded enough, there's no question of asking for its abrogation.